Alright guys, we're going to take another look at some of these midpoint distance problems. Okay, and we'll be back tomorrow to go through another worksheet, and you'll be able to preview that worksheet tonight. I'm going to provide that for you. And as a matter of fact, here is one of the problems from that worksheet. So let me just go through this so that you're comfortable with it when you find these problems, okay? And so here's what we got to remember here. We got 1 point and we got the midpoint. Maybe one of the best ways to do this is to just kind of sketch it out, okay? So I'm going to plot those points just so that we get a better view of what this is about. We've got A at 9, 4, 9, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and up 4. Okay, so there it is. There's A at 9, 4. A at 9, comma 4. Okay? Now, the midpoint is at negative 2, 7. The midpoint is at negative 2, 7. That's negative 2 and up 7. That's up 4, 5, 6, 7. So the midpoint is up here. This is the midpoint. This is M, the midpoint, which is at negative 2, comma 7. Now, what I want to find is the other endpoint. So imagine that I'm going to extend this going through M, and somewhere over here is going to be my point B, okay? Which I don't know, all right? So don't get this confused. This is not giving you the two endpoints. This is giving you A, one endpoint. One endpoint is A. That is, okay, 9, comma 4. The other endpoint is B. We don't know what it is. So if we don't know what it is, we'll call it simply x comma y. All right, we'll call it x comma y. So B is going to B is going to have coordinates x and y. We don't know. We're trying to find out what that is. Clean that up. And what we have is the midpoint. The midpoint was given to us, so we're going to put that in. The midpoint is, okay, negative 2, 7. Negative 2, comma 7. Okay, so we write our midpoint formula. Now, what's our midpoint formula tell us? Okay, tell us the coordinates of the midpoint, M, okay, are given by the formula, okay, x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. Now, okay, well, we already know that the coordinates of the midpoint are given, negative 2, 7. Okay? So remember what I said. Whenever we're given these points, we always want to tag them. I'm tagging them x1, y1. And this one is going to be tagged x2, y2. So now I say, well, x1 plus y1 over 2 is supposed to equal negative 2, right? And y1 plus y2 over 2 is how we find the y coordinate, but we know that that's equal to 7. Okay? So here's what we do. We simply go and we set up this equation. We say, okay, here, what do I have? I have x1 and y1. I have x1 and x2. x1 plus x2 over 2, okay, is supposed to equal negative 2, all right? And I have y1 plus y2 over 2 is supposed to equal, okay, my value here of 7. But now I can come back and I say, well, wait a minute, I know what x1 is. I don't know what x2 is, okay? But I'm leaving it as x. So that's the x1, which is here, which is 9, plus the unknown x2, which is here, which is x, over 2 is supposed to equal negative 2. And then I have the y1, which is 4, plus the y2, which I don't know, is y, over 2 is supposed to equal 7. Now I have my two little equations, and I can solve for these. Here we go. To solve for this, cross multiply, get rid of that fraction. So it gives me 9 plus x is supposed to equal, okay, when I cross multiply that, I'm going to have, what, negative 4, yes? Now I can solve that by subtracting 9 and get x equals negative 13, okay? Now here, I can solve for y. Cross multiply gives me 4 plus y is equal to 14, and then when I subtract 4, I get y is equal to 10. So now I have x equals negative 13 and y equals 10. So I know now what this value of point B is, the coordinates of that. So point B is negative 13 comma 10. All right, negative 13 comma 10, which means that's where that point B is, way out there at negative 13 and 10. Okay, and what you should do is check to see that we're going to get that coordinate of negative 2, 7 as the midpoint with A and B. Quickly checking, okay, 9 plus a negative 13 is negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2, and 10 and 4 is 14 divided by 2 is 7. So that's what we got. We got a little twist to the midpoint formula, but there it is, okay? Just, it's kind of working the midpoint formula backwards. Somebody kind of pointed that out in class. So it's exactly what you're doing, okay? Just, you got a couple of those problems, and work them out, and we'll be back with another video to show you some more problems on this worksheet. There you go.